The F59. Such a good-looking model. Just a little too clean for my liking. I'm probably going to give this model a little bit of a light weathering job. Similar to the treatment of my Rapido F40, where it's dulled and there's a little bit of exhaust, but for the most part, it's pretty clean. So looking at photos here of 559, these two are not mine. These are just on ourpicturearchives.net. This is actually mine. You can see that all around, pretty clean unit. The only real grime that I see is up here by the stack where all that soot is coming out, and by the plow and around the trucks. So yeah, this weathering job is going to be pretty light. Also by the horn and the bell for some reason. That's pretty soot covered, but you can't really see because I haven't lined up my camera perfectly. That's great. Alright, step 1, masking. Cut out pieces of masking tape. Stick them where you don't want weathering. That's pretty much the step. Just rinse and repeat for everywhere that you want to mask. Huzzah, transition! Welcome to my paint booth. This is a paint booth thing that my grandfather found at Princess Auto one day. Not sure if you can still get it. All I know is that it was rather pricey. Anyway, it comes with this Lazy Susan, which is kind of helpful for this sort of thing. And I just put a piece of track on there. So I'll be right back with the locomotive because the dry over here is slanted, so things tend to fall off. So I don't usually store things on there. I almost did Mark's challenge and put it on without having to correct anything. So, our locomotive is here. It is on the Lazy Susan. Lazy Susan is useful because obviously you don't want to be touching your clear coat when it's wet to turn the engine, so you don't have to. And for this tutorial, I have masked the rear headlight. I don't usually do that because passenger engines rarely use them. So anyway, just gonna make sure little things like the horn are straight. That looks pretty good. Everything looks good. So I'm gonna turn it on. There's a built-in system in here that filters the air, and I'm gonna shake up my clear coat can. This one's from Rust-Oleum. It's a matte clear coat. Perfect for weathering. This stuff is awesome. It's what I always use. And it's got the good spray thing as well. Good nozzle. So anyway, go light on your coats. More light coats are better. It's usually my method for spraying this. 6 or 7 passes, light sprays. Then let that section dry and move on to another section. For example, I did the side, now I'm doing the opposite side. 7, okay. And we do the back. And the front. Now to let it dry. Shouldn't take very long to dry. I'll film the next layers as well. Alright, so it's been a few minutes since I did the last coat. I didn't get the top last coat, so that's what I'm going to start with. And now I'm going to let that dry as well. Alright, so after the first couple layers of clear coat, the first thing I'm going to do is just a little bit of road grime along the bottom of the unit. Basically along the trucks, the fuel tank, and these air reservoirs in the back, and the plow up front. Basically just get some dark brownish color paint. I use this Vallejo German C black brown color, just because I have some and I like it as a color. Optional, you can paint the wheels. I'm not going to because there's not really a lot of space and you can't really see them that well. But if they're more open wheels, on something like an LRC car, I usually use Vallejo Chocolate Brown, which is this. And just for reference on what that looks like, that's what it looks like on LRC cars by Rapido. Very nice. So I'm not going to talk over the rest of this. I'm going to take the audio off and probably, if I remember in editing, put some music over this. And probably speed it up as well, because I want to make this video short but informative. So without further ado, sound off. Alright, so I have the unit on an old t-shirt. This is so that I don't get weathering powder on my desk, and so that when I'm done I can just take it up and dust out all the weathering powder from the t-shirt rather than have it on my desk and getting it all over my hands. Anyway, the weathering powder that I use is Vallejo Pigments, just because I have some. So this is the natural iron oxide color, and it's black. It's like a matte black color, and it works really well for soot. You can see in there it's just matte black. So what you do, you just get some on a brush or whatever you're using to applicate it. You just kind of put it on there. You can spread it out, and then it'll leave streaks and stuff. Do what you want with the weathering powder, and make sure you clear coat it after so you don't get stuck. And also do it in sections, and make sure you can grab it and transport it without touching your weathering powder, because you don't want fingerprints in it. Alright, so I'm just in the process of taking off some of the tape. I've taken the liberty to paint the coupler, just the front one, because the back one, the paint would scratch off because it'll be in use pretty much the entire time this thing's on the track once I have my go coaches. So yeah, that's just done in the same German sea black brown color that I mentioned earlier, and yeah, so it looks pretty good so far. Be careful if you're using sharp tweezers like this not to scratch your model's paint anywhere, because I think when applying this mask here that I'm removing, I might have scratched a little bit of the black on the nose. Also, I'm just going to take this off this coffee mug to do the rest so that I don't destroy any of the underbody detail. I'll come back when this is all off. I'll put this on the layout and we'll give it a spin.